Hey, random stranger, we're watching Hibike movie 3 today, which I believe, well, I don't really know what time period it's going to cover, but hopefully it'll pick up right after the end of season 2, I think. If it does, I'm so keen to see a Yuuko run band along with Natsuki, her wife. And yeah, we'll just see what goes down. Make sure you have your own copy to sync along with, and let's do this. Three, two, one, play. Man, so much anticipation. I love Hibike. Just ready to be transported into a hyper realistic world where instruments look amazingly close to their like actual life counterparts. There's that bridge. Don't know if it's the same one that Kumiko ran across. Are they dating? Or almost about to? I mean, she's not pushing him away. Mm. I can't believe we're starting here. Oh God, please. I mean, you know what? I honestly don't mind Shuichi and Kimiko. I just don't want the movie to be centered around their relationship because I don't know, personally, I just don't think that's where the interesting stuff is. But we'll see. We'll see. If anything, I want the central relationship to be Natsuki and Yuko. Ah, this is so nice. They're doing the welcoming the first year thing. Hey, our ever versatile bassist. That's a good piece selection. Oh, Natsuki plays the guitar too. I do know a lot of classical musicians who just very easily pick up other instruments like guitar and drums. I don't know. Say for me, like, you know, after having learned piano and violin, picking up something like the guitar is fairly easy. Obviously, not to a very high level, but at least, you know, you've got the basics down and it can sound okay. Kamiko's always got those very chaotic feet. Mm. Mm. Raina. Raina's like, I'm a lone wolf. She does need Kumiko though, I think. Right, so we got to go through the recruitment process. It's always rough at the beginning. Do we have another genius walking up to the club? I do hope we get to see last year's seniors though. I love how you can see like the Yamaha, the engraving on the side. Is this Asuka's piece? Yes. First Hugo. Oh, she's a little cinnamon puff. Oh, I loved how the feet stepped back a little bit from each other. Kind of just that awkward getting to know each other phase. Ah, I love those sounds when she pressed the valves. Um, she was good by the time. It's complicated. Hmm, odd. I love how cool Reina is. Just cucumber cool. The tone until she gets mad at something or someone. They do seem to be like seeing each other. This is a very like strange turnaround from how Kumiko used to treat Shuichi. I do like that they started out as friends, though. Like, if they're gonna have a relationship, at least have a solid foundation of friendship first. Otherwise, it just comes out of nowhere, you know? They've got new fish. Oh, so they're kind of like mini celebrities. It's nice. That's like the new Hazuki. Like Kumiko was. Sugatsuki. Well, she's got very weird eyes. They kind of draw you in. Oh. Mm, it's never full. I don't know. I'm just getting this odd feeling that that sweet exterior of hers is kind of this mask. Seems like a good girl. I don't know. Getting weird feelings. Tsukinaga. Okay, emo kid. That tall girl just kind of got dragged into the bass section. Holidays 9 to 6 then. Yeah, that's I used to have a friend who played double bass and oh my god, watching her lug it to the train station every day was just almost hell. Oh, good job, Kumiko. Oh, okay, so this is gonna be a continuing theme in this movie. Oh, Raina. Oh, Raina, you got a competition. Still gotta think about quality. Ah, another vote. I love how he had to specify that. Because sometimes as a student, you don't really understand where your teacher is trying to push you to, and it's like you may build up a little bit of resentment because practice is bloody hard. I mean, Yuuko is not going to take anything less than gold at nationals. She will shoot down anyone who's not on board. Just throw them out the window. Oh my god, I hate chalk noise. Uh, I mean, who dared to fire that face? Yeah, it's a very different sort of leadership style compared to Haruka, I think we're gonna get. Not necessarily better, just different. Is that it? What's with those two? Mm, I mean, at least he listens to Midori. Man, the first year is really bringing the drama, eh? Yeah, I'm still trying to get a handle on that first year girl. I've already forgotten her name. Yeah, her. It's just interspersed with romance drama. Mm, new competitor. A dark horse for this year, I guess. Mm. Who is this? It's like a third year that we haven't met. She's the other girl looking after the first years. Mm. What a weird question. I mean, I guess it's not weird given their history. I mean, if Taki is picking, then sure. It's just that weird smile that she plasters in her face, but that's not really what's going on in her mind. It's amazing how they conveyed that already. Almost like she's got some sort of sinister plan. Nothing. Mm. Yeah, to feel it. What? Where is this coming from? She's like, aren't you two girlfriends? Sachan. Hmm. She like runs off to the side. Oh my god. Just starting his own fan club. Is that Reina that did that on behalf of Kumiko? Oh, is she a drama stirrer? Oh, I do not like that. She's trying to distract Kumiko so she doesn't do as well in the auditions and she gets the solo part. I don't know. I feel like I don't think she's the right girl to ask. Yeah, it's like the way that they didn't focus on her face when she promised to do it. It's like she's gonna use it to, I don't know, just do something not very nice. It's like she doesn't have pure intentions. Mm. Mm. Just like you find new friends and, leave your old ones behind. Playing the game. I do love how they're all getting their own fan clubs. Oh my god. Yeah, I wonder if Asuka's just going to be a shadow over this movie and we'll actually won't ever get to see her. That would be quite sad. I would be sad. Damn, that's messy. That must be so hard though. I've never had to play an instrument while marching. It just adds a whole other level of complexity. Oh no. Oh, Rika's so good. She definitely saw that. The relationship between Mire and like Sachan just feels like Mizore and Nozomi a little bit. Just like hints of that. Ooh. Hmm. It's like what happens outside of official practice hours that matters too. Oh, that's so creepy. The side glance. And Kimiko's feeling it too. Oh no. Stop. That's even worse. Don't drink it, it's poisoned. She's poisoning you with her words. I mean, if you think about Reina, she's not exactly the social type. She got told. I really, you know what? I think Asuka would really, really dislike Kanade, I think her name is. Should just be like, "Pfft," and just walk off. She definitely wouldn't be as tolerant as her. Mm. Why, Shuichi, why would you bring it up? This is making me not miss high school at all. All of these extra music things that you have to deal with, like people. So real. Yeah, so we're here already. They're so cute. Those outfits. Mm. Oh, ooh. I guess she's just not used to. She was just kind of plopped into this existing group of people, and she's really struggling to make new connections. Kind of seeing her friend just take to it like duck to water, but she's just kind of struggling. Mm. Oh, oh my God, she's just like this poison ivy. Oh, oh, her words are poison. Oh, this is creepy music to go with the creepy words. Can Kamiko hear what she's saying? Is it, why would she let her say those things? I mean, oh, what? Kumiko, are you just gonna stand there? Come on, man. I mean, stop listening to that other girl, for one. What are those kids doing up there? Just watching the show. Oh, nice. Come on, Yuuko. Ah, da da da. Love some cowbells. Here's that cutie on the left. Nice. It's so perky. Man, even the guy's like showing a bit of tum. It's awesome. Hazuki is awesome. She doesn't even need like any apology or any words. She's just like, if you're coming back, I'm gonna make you my friend. Nice. This girl needs to get dumped. Seriously. I mean, Natsuki knows. I love how they like convey all of these unspoken thoughts through there's just these glances to each other. Yay. That is massive. That the tuba. She's disappointed that she couldn't sew any drama. Kumiko, you better be careful. Hey. Oh, so Liz and the Bluebird kind of occurred simultaneously as this. Okay. Who is taking these videos? I mean, it depends. Like on what part, right? Oh my god, she's got a son. There's good reasons to be moved by someone. Mm. Ooh, why does she have to do it like that? Mm. Oh, finally, is this the confirmation? Yeah, okay, thank you. Just bad vibes, man. I don't know when these bad vibes are gonna stop. Maybe when she stops trying to stir shit, you know? What instrument does she play? The trumpet? Mm. Ooh, da 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 da. That was nice. Mm. So quite a few characters who don't really speak what's on their mind. That's what makes it interesting. I guess if you don't try, you don't practice, you're kind of setting your expectations low, right? It's like, oh, I wasn't trying for that anyway. Rain is so confident in her relationship with Kumiko that she's just like, yeah, how's Shuichi? How's that going? Oh, Uno reverse card. I love how they can tease each other with that kind of stuff. Is that dad? Oh, we have a follow up with this. Oh no. Oh no. Is this the pressure? Gonna turn up the pressure? I mean, even though they didn't show what her dad said, I'm pretty sure we can safely assume that it was the same kind of pressure. Like, have you thought about your studies, your job? It's almost like she doesn't respect people who are maybe not as talented or aren't extraordinarily talented. Oh, this music is so romantic. Wasn't this the time when she went up the mountain with Raina? I I don't know what's happening. She bought those for Raina. It's it's just so weird. I mean, I think they are dating. Okay, we've got the trope where the girl falls over onto the guy. So clearly they're setting this up as a thing. Run away. You know what? I feel for Shuichi though. I do feel for the guy. It's been so long. Mm. And then she's gonna go and meet Raina. It's so weird. It's like, I mean, sure. It did feel like it came out of nowhere, but I guess that's what they were always gonna do anyway. And then she just can just go and chill with Raina, I guess. Because it's their thing, right? Like that's home for Kumiko, I guess, is how I feel. She doesn't have a youth with her though. Aww. Here we are again. Because you're on a date with Shoji. Oh my god, Kimiko. Trying to have her cake and eat it too. It's just weird. It's weird. That's fine. Relationships are complicated. She's pretty clear on that. Uh, oh, interesting overlay of that story. Kimiko and Reina. Wait, isn't that some kind of trait where it's like indirect kiss or something? I mean, this is like the ultimate romantic moment. You got a view, the night sky, music. I love those four. Ah, so beautiful. Not a trumpet player, but I imagine hitting those high pitch notes would be quite difficult, just so precisely. So I feel like Natsuki and Kanade have to figure out like that situation. She's leaving. It's more like a support role. I wonder why. I mean, maybe she personally doesn't really feel like she's taking to the technical side of music. Maybe something's happening at home. Hmm. I mean, some people do prefer sort of the managerial side of things and not really the technical music side of things, but it does feel like she is hiding something, just covering it up. Oh no. It's a health thing. Oh. Mm. Ah, that's sad. That's a shame. Oh, it's such a brave smile. Like it's the she's trying to make the best of a really bad situation. She's definitely cried many times over this. Uh, is she gonna help her? What if she deliberately sabotages her? It's like, this is how you play it, and it's actually not. Oh, is she gonna talk shit about Natsuki? Sorry? Oh my god. It's, I mean, yeah, because Natsuki was also like to Kumiko, like, you're really talented and the spot belongs to you. Like, you deserve the spot, even though she herself didn't have one. That's really big of her. What is this girl's problem? It's like she can't imagine that people can just be the bigger person. I mean, it took people some time to get used to it, but they got over it. Yeah, she's definitely at the beginning of that journey, whereas everyone else has just kind of moved on. Oh god. Because Cody's a badass. I mean, counterfactuals, it's really hard to compare. I do feel like Kumiko's being way too nice to Kanade. I just think she needs to be told, you know? She's definitely the character that was put there to really raise some hackles. I get the audience, I'm pretty sure the audience is not meant to like her either. Good advice from Goto. Sometimes when you're practicing so hard and so much, and for such long periods of time, you do cross this threshold where more practice actually makes you worse. She's like, I can't handle them. Not ready for kids. She's like, you're not even wrong. We've not really heard her play. But I guess we're assuming she is better than Natsuki. Wait, what? What just happened? Is Kumiko in on this? Or... Oh, she's deliberately playing badly so that Natsuki gets a part? Uh, she gonna slap her? She's like, I have to get along with everyone, and you need to do the things you need to do to fit in. Um, that's not a problem though. I mean, okay, is this like, yeah. She thinks it's a repeat of the Cowdy Reina situation. She doesn't want to be Reina. Hmm. Ooh, okay, here we go. She doesn't realize that Kataji has already been through all of this, and so I guess something did happen to her. I mean, she's not wrong. My God, but she's being really mean about it. Okay, it's the same situation. Not really though. I guess it was like hidden resentment. Ooh, ooh. Okay. Oh, I get it now. Okay. She's like, people change no matter what they're saying at this moment. I mean, they didn't win. Not really. And they're still fine though after the Reina, like, Cowdy thing. Mm. Because Kumiko wants to be the best. Keep improving. You can't ever not be improving. Oh my god, running uphill too. This cut's so deep. Like for anyone who has ever practiced an instrument for years and years. Mm. I mean, Caldy was the one who sort of stepped down on the all that hate that went towards Reina, I guess. So if she can trust those two, like Natsuki and Kumiko, she should be fine. But it is scary. Like, okay, I get it now. I get it. Mm. Wouldn't it be funny if they all made it? All that drama for nothing, not for nothing, because at least she got out what she was really hiding. Oh, Hazuki. I guess, okay. All of that stuff that she said to other people trying to stir things up. I guess she's trying to dig deeper into people's true intentions and that, you know, all this happy, like acceptance that whoever is better will get the part. She didn't really believe that. And so she's trying to get to the heart of it, of what she thought was the real deal. But it was coming from a place of trauma. Mm. Raina's just like side eyeing. Oh, it's her and Asuka's place. Just like waiting for Asuka to pop out at any second. Mm. Good goal. Duh. And she has such an idealized vision of what it is to be a professional musician, and she's not wrong. It's just, there's also a lot of other shitty stuff you have to deal with if you do go down that path. But I guess that's for a future movie. Why? Why are we doing this? Yeah, I've always loved Niyama. Mm. Ah, Shuichi is always in the same situation at these camps, just pining over Kumiko. It's been years. She's so confident. Wow, I don't think we've seen a proper scene between Reina and Shuichi. She's giving it back? Uh, that's a that's a very practical decision. I mean, that is such a common situation though, like at that stage in your life. It's just really hard to try and keep a relationship together. Especially when you're not really quite independent yet. Kind of just at that weird sort of independent, but not really stage. Okay. That was a very mature, like, way to handle that. I wonder. I mean, they're obviously not going to win in this movie because I guess I need to keep that for season 3. But who knows? Like, Hibike has not been one to be predictable. Oh, oh wow. Haruka? Oh. Oh my god. Oh, they look so grown. All the first years are like looking at her like some kind of goddess. This legend that is Asuka. Don't go. No. Um two. Oh my god. Yuko's like, no, I wanted to hear her say it. Okay, I love that those three are still super tight. Maybe they're living together? I don't know. Ah, she doesn't even know how to respond when they're not squabbling like cats and dogs. Like Natsuki doesn't really know how to take it. Do we get the performance? That's the question. What an interesting choice for a competition. Because she was dead inside. Oh. Is this where it ends? Oh no. Let's do this. Oh, it's so scary. Just those initial silent moments before you start. It's very irregular rhythm. Ah, okay. It's like a 6/8 piece. It definitely wasn't 6/8 when it started. Ah, it's so light and fluffy up in those higher ranges. Oh God. Oh, they're a bit sharp. That's okay. Oh, trumpets. Wow. Man, the trumpets are really coming on strong. I mean, I don't know if that's meant to be like that in this piece, but you could draw on every single note. Boom. Into the next movement. Wind sound effects. Nice. I love the timpani girl. Oh, it's so satisfyingly accurate. Even that roll. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, even when you can hear that she's hitting it a bit harder and the resonance is a lot stronger, they managed to sort of convey that in the animation. That's crazy. Da, 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 da. Not that I'm surprised because it's Hibike, but honestly, when you see it again, you just have to compliment it. Damn. Oh, it's this part. This is when Nozomi has already kind of let her go. Nice. Oh, the oboe. It. Did you notice how like the flute? So Nozomi really did kind of step back at that part and just let the oboe go. That was perfect. Why? Is Kumiko thinking that Rain is the reason why she's even here? Wow, what is with the hands? It's a Taki. Oh my god. I got chills. I always don't want everyone else to come back in. Okay, but we have to. Even the lift of the bow, like just there. Duh, duh. This is totally Mizore's piece. Nice, like just slowly swelling in there. God, the oboe is so beautiful. It's Kumiko joining her there. Dun, dun, dun. It's kind of like that retardando. Yeah, that's well done. I don't know why the trumpets this performance for me just aren't um doing it as well. I don't know. It is a beautiful ensemble piece, so mm, I feel so much for her, for Kabe Senpai. Trumpets. Da, 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 da. As triplets. I like how they focus on their eyes when they had to accent those notes because you could see like the okay, we got to come in now, Sean. We got Symbol Girl back. Nice. Okay. Asuka. Asuka satisfied. Oh, his harmonies. Yeah, some interesting time signature changes here. Uh, phew. I gotta say, Mizore, the absolute star of this whole performance. And everyone else just supported her so well. Yeah. Natsuki's first competition performance. Okay. Wait, that's not the real goal that they're after, right? Okay, this is the important part. Oh, shit. Mm. I mean, we knew it was coming, right? We knew. Oh, man. Ah, these two. So they didn't even make it to nationals. I mean, they they lost a lot of talented third years, to be fair. Rika is just like, yeah, that's fine. Oh, Yuuko. She had a good cry, and now she's just trying to rally everyone else's spirits. She's such a good leader. Yeah. When she and all of the other 30 years won't be there. Oh, Yuuko. Okay, so I am assuming that this is the end of the road for all of the third years because they didn't even get to nationals, so they won't even get to take a shot at that. And yet, Yuko's ability to kind of just pick themselves up and sort of set up the band for next year is pretty amazing. But it's still worth it. Mm. It's gonna try and goad her into like Radar 2.0. Yeah. Kimiko's like, you'll be fine. If you have that fire, you're gonna do just fine. Yay! You know, with Hibike, it's like they condition us to not expect a win at the end of anything, at the end of a series, at the end of a movie, because that's never been the point of Hibike. It's to show how the grueling process and the frustrating process of getting better at your instrument and learning to listen to your ensemble mates and putting together a performance, which in and of itself is such a difficult thing to do already, let alone try and get to nationals and compete with the best of the best. That's the process that really counts and your personal growth as a result of putting yourself through that hell. Even though I knew that, to not expect a quote unquote great result or like a proper win, some part of me was like, is this the moment where they're actually going to give these kids a win? And it's going to be like, oh, just so exhilarating. And it's like, oh, it was all worth it. But then it's like, no, Hibike is really re emphasizing and re-teaching the lesson that even when you don't win, it's the recognizing that you poured your heart and soul and mind and efforts into this one thing and you gave it your all. And that is the true worth of this activity. It's just knowing that you can do that. Yeah, there's this one last part that we can watch and then we'll have a long chat. It's like a little ending scene. Asuka's song again. It's also the same time of day that we first heard Asuka play this, with that sort of light. Just such a nice tapering off. Ah! Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know why I'm in shock. I mean, of course. Ah, that's amazing. Oh, is that like the season 3? That's where we're gonna kick off, I guess. Okay, first of all, I cannot believe that we are actually going to get Kumiko as president of the band in her last year. So, yay, Kumiko, well done. And I cannot wait to see that in season 3. In terms of the overall pacing of the movie, I do have mixed feelings. Like, I thought that they did a really decent job of packing in all of the events of an entire year into that one movie when normally they'd take an entire season. But I am also a bit sad that that's all we're going to see of President Yuuko and her VP Natsuki. Like their whole bickering but madly in love with each other vibe is one of my favorites to watch. And I would have loved an entire subplot just focusing on how those two work together and how they took to their leadership roles and dealt with all of the drama in the new band. But alas, that's not what we're going to get. And hey, it's not a surprise that once again, Hibike subverted that typical narrative expectation of a final big win. I mean, in fact, the band did not even reach nationals in this movie. We know that, and I love the fact that Hibike is all about using disappointment to bring home a much deeper message about the other equally important measures of success, such as, for example, how much you grow as a person and how ambitious you are about improving at your instrument, or, as Hibike constantly emphasizes, the true, authentic relationships that you form with other band members. I particularly liked how the band's quote unquote failure was reframed through the lens of the third years, who, like all of the other third years before them, will never get a chance at a redo. But instead of bitterness or regret or any other amalgam of awful feelings, Yuuko gave this rousing speech that challenged how success is normally measured. So the goal that the band voted on themselves has never just been about reaching nationals, but about continuous improvement and about building something that lasts beyond each person's own time in the band. This crop of third years has really seen it all, you know, from the band's dramatic split that we started with to reaching nationals a previous year to now like failing to even get to nationals. But instead of seeing that as a step backward, the band took it as just part of like this larger trajectory of growth. You know, they could be proud of their performance this year despite not matching the previous year's achievement in terms of competition results, because they've learned that progress isn't always linear, you know, and success isn't just measured by these external markers of achievement. In fact, I felt like there was almost this sort of sense of legacy in Yuuko's speech, you know, a sense that Kataoji has cultivated a deeper culture of resilience that connects all Kataoji students, past and present, which is something that is way more important than actually winning. And that shift feels especially significant because it's the result of like a good couple of years of shared struggles and conflict and triumphs starting in season 1. And the fact that Yuuko can now, as president, speak proudly of that legacy of resilience in a year when they didn't even make nationals, I think shows just how far the band has come. Okay, so the one person who wasn't so on board with the whole like, yay, team spirit and continuous improvement train was Kanade, who's one of the newbies that we were introduced to in the movie. She was still stuck in this mindset of winning is what counts and wasn't so sure that, you know, doing your best and try again next year is good enough. And what I loved about Kumiko's response to Kanade in this scene is how instead of trying to convince her that there is more to winning than, you know, well, winning, Kumiko kind of just acknowledged Kanade's state of mind. Like, she's not crazy to think this is all dumb because she's been there herself. Those in the band who have been in the band for a bit longer have experienced that whole emotional roller coaster of competitive music and all of those mental barriers that you have to tear down to know that eventually you do have to give yourself a lot of grace and also find a way to channel all of that disappointment into something positive when things inevitably don't go your way. This callback to Raina's line, like, I'm so frustrated, I just want to die, was a perfect circle back to where the characters that we know and love all started. This is like Kumiko's very knowing face, and I think it expressed everything that the Katauji band has already been through and learnt. Kanade, you know, she's just at the start of a very long and difficult but ultimately very fulfilling journey where one day she will understand that just as or even more important than a win is like the thrill of the chase, the thrill of knowing that you are actually getting better as a music player. We should talk more about Kanade and sort of like the part that she played in this movie. She was one of those characters that was clearly written to irritate the audience, at least to me. And, you know, getting on people's nerves and whispering into Kumiko's ears like some sort of master manipulator, but who ultimately carried this very deep emotional baggage that eventually just rose to the surface. And what that baggage was like basically Kanade's bad experience in middle school had created these fears and assumptions that influenced how she acted at Katauji, including her, you know, throwing her audition to make sure that it was Natsuki who made it into the competition band. And I liked how when she was telling Kumiko about her very pained past, the camera did this sort of like downward movement, like we were really starting to sink deeper and dig deeper beneath the surface of her very weird sort of combative behavior. Okay, so the rest of the tea was that Canada took a third-year spot and she was initially told that playing her best would be enough. But when her band only got the silver and not the gold, people started whispering that it was essentially Canada's fault. And so from that awful experience, which I couldn't even imagine what it was like because my band was not like that or my orchestra was not like that. We never really gossiped about other people and we never ever blamed one person for like our orchestra's competition result. But anyway, that's what happened to poor Kanade. She learned that despite people's outwardly supportive words about just doing your best, they could quickly turn on you when faced with actual disappointing results. So at Katauji, what initially appeared as her, I guess, trying to stir up drama was actually her attempting to force others to admit to their hidden feelings that she assumed that they must have based on her own experiences. And she did all of that, interestingly, through all of these indirect methods, you know, testing people's reactions, making all of these suggestive comments, rather than confronting the issue head on. And so with the whole Natsuki situation, Kanade found herself fearful of becoming the villain again. And I totally got where she's coming from. You know, she saw how popular Natsuki was with the other band members, and that activated all of those anxieties about being resented for potentially taking Natsuki's position. What I think makes Kanade's character so compelling is how her fears, they sort of created this self-fulfilling prophecy by acting on her assumptions about hidden resentment and how other people would react to her. She actually created more tension where there might have been none. It's this very powerful commentary on how past trauma can shape our current perceptions and actions, even when our current environment and the people that we are surrounded with are no longer the same. I love the scene where Kumiko chased Kanade down in the rain. Running scenes in Hibike, they serve as these like pivotal moments of breakthrough, especially for Kumiko's character. Except this time it was Kumiko running after someone else, Kanade, and to reach out to her, to someone who was trapped in this spiral of anxiety. And anxiety Kumiko herself has experienced in, if not the same form, a very similar form herself. I think what made this scene so intense was, so there are these two key separate but also related issues being laid out at the same time. The first was what Kumiko and the band have learned over the last 2 years, you know, that if they truly want to improve and aim for nationals, they need to have the best players playing in each section. That choosing based on seniority or popularity rather than skill would betray their collective ambition to grow and to excel and to finally win. And this thing that Kumiko said about how, you know, it is better if Katauji chooses you instead of me or Natsuki because you're better, that just became so much more meaningful when the band didn't make nationals in the end. And their attitude, the positive way that they took that, proved Kumiko's words weren't just words, but they reflected a genuine change in how the Katauji band members support each other and view success or failure. On top of that, both Kumiko and Natsuki have these deeply personal reasons for wanting purely like effort and improvement to be rewarded. Kumiko, through Reina's influence, really learned to embrace her ambition openly instead of being just paralyzed by her fear of what others would think about her ambition. Reina taught her it was okay to want to be better, to want to be special, without having to downplay that drive to make others feel comfortable. And then meanwhile, Natsuki is someone who, despite not having the natural talent of others, continues to practice her ass off relentlessly, while also being the OG who supported others' efforts being recognized meritocratically. So of all people, she would understand this desire to have positions decided purely based on merit and effort without all of the social considerations that often cloud the issue. The second issue was when Kumiko voiced that deep, deep fear that Kanade and really all musicians have, which is this fear of like, what if I practice so hard and it doesn't even matter? Like it doesn't get me anywhere. And I would say that this fear encompasses an even more terrifying question in competitive music. It's not just about whether you'll improve personally, because constant practice will inevitably lead to some improvement, but whether you will improve compared to others. The real challenge in music, I think, is about finding peace with where you stand in relation to others. It's about learning to keep pushing forward even when you're not sure that your best will be enough by external standards, you know, whether you'll win a competition, whether you'll even get into the band, whether you're actually even going to be at the top somewhere, because it's so bloody competitive. It's about realizing that improvement itself is enough. The brilliance of this scene, I think, was how those two threads came together in Kumiko's message to Kanade, that the band's genuine commitment to improvement means that they have to support each member's individual ambition and hard work, regardless of the outcome. And that means running the band on a merits-based system. The fact that those fears were addressed together is fitting because they often feed into each other. The fear of others' judgment can make the anxiety about practicing and getting better yourself even more paralyzing, and vice versa. On the positive side, it showed how Katauji has become this very supportive environment where both the ambition to excel and the frustration of that process can be openly expressed. I also just want to make a really quick point about how freaking much Kumiko has grown. She is able to articulate these fears so well because, well, one, she's experienced them herself, but now she's not just sharing in the anxiety, you know, she's actually helping someone else work through it. And it really set her up well for her ultimate transformation into the president. So this Hibike movie had some big ticket items that they had to convey, but I also liked that some time was still given to quote unquote minor characters and their personal struggles, even though, again, I did wish that we'd had a whole season to explore those minor issues more because I found them fascinating. In real life, they are major issues and very important aspects of becoming a musician and or playing in a band or an orchestra. So one issue was Midei, who is very introverted and struggled to connect initially with the other band members, which reflected how being a naturally withdrawn kind of person in a band setting presents certain unique challenges that go beyond just playing the instrument. The collaborative nature of band means that being more withdrawn can sometimes be misinterpreted, I guess, as a lack of interest or commitment. Even when you are deeply passionate about music, it just doesn't show as much. The misunderstanding can then affect your relationships with your bandmates and potentially impact some later important decisions like part assignments or even leadership roles within sections. I mean, even just normal everyday band stuff requires constant interaction and communication. For example, when you see them break off into their section practices, and then of course you have full band rehearsals, and even things like bloody tuning your instrument requires you to coordinate and communicate with others. And so when you're naturally more introverted or withdrawn, every interaction can feel like an additional mental burden on top of the existing musical demands. In Catalgy in particular, where the practice schedule seems pretty intense, like it's definitely way more intense than I remember my high school band being. And there seems to be a lot of reliance on senpai kohai mentoring and peer learning. So I could see how, as Mirei-chan, like it would be harder to ask for help with, for example, difficult passages or request additional practice time with your bandmates if you're naturally just not adept at that kind of communication. And because you have that struggle, I could also see how having that sort of personality could lead to slower improvement or just unnecessary struggles that others might have helped you master more quickly. I found it touching and also slightly ironic that it was Reina who brought up Midei's difficulty with socializing to Kumiko, given that she was the one in first year who also struggled with getting people on her side. But Reina is also a completely different person to Midei, because the initial reason behind Reina's distance was her intense ambition and her perfectionism. She effectively chose to separate herself out from everyone else because she saw most of the others as less serious about music than she was. It was an active, I don't give a shit about you isolation that was rooted in her drive for excellence. I mean, she showed that she can form deep connections when she finds other people who match her passion. For instance, her relationship with Kumiko. Her barriers to connection were more about finding people who met her high standards rather than the social interaction itself being difficult. So once Reina came down from her high horse a bit and came to realize that relationships with other people, even if they don't meet your very, very high standards, that those are just as rewarding, that was when Reina kind of did mellow out a bit. Midei's withdrawal, on the other hand, it wasn't about looking down on others or having these very high-minded goals, but rather just her natural tendency to withdraw and her own personal comfort level with social interactions itself. And I relate to that struggle personally. So I am glad that this movie did make room for exploring that a little. Another issue that we touched on, barely, but it was there, was the pain of a musician, literal and emotional, who gets injured. And we saw that with Tomoe, a trumpet player suffering from musician's jaw, or a condition called temporomandibular joint disorder, or TMJ, which results from the overuse of the jaw muscles due to very prolonged, intense playing on a brass instrument, or really anything that requires constant movement and compression of the mandible. It's very painful from my understanding, and depending on the severity can be debilitating. The equivalent for a strings player would be like carpal tunnel syndrome in the wrist, and I know that is extremely, extremely painful. Tomoe's arc illustrated a complex emotional struggle that a lot of musicians face when dealing with physical injury. You know, initially she tried to brush it off, thinking it was just temporary and that it would kind of resolve itself. But as the pain intensified and became more persistent, she had to confront a harsh reality. Yes, she could have learnt another instrument, but every musician knows that starting from scratch is essentially the same as giving up on at least your professional or your competitive career. Given that your peers at this point, even in high school, have had years of experience and you're just never going to make up that gap. So in this revealing conversation with Kumiko, Tomoe shared how she had to reframe her situation and just find those silver linings in what was a really shit situation. She was like, at least I don't have to deal with people, awful people, I might add, who criticize her playing or face the pressures of auditions. But and Kumiko knew and Tomoe knew that beneath this positivity is a very strong undercurrent of just sadness, and loss. But faced with that kind of injury, what else can you do? You need to find ways to cope with giving up something that you love and you have pursued at this point for many, many years and just sacrificed so much for. That's, I guess, what her decision to become a band manager was too. It was a cope. It was an acceptance of her injury, but also this admirable determination to stay connected to music, even if it was in a very different way to what she had originally planned. How perfect was this super, super short scene where we got to see the return of the 3 OG senpais, Asuka, Kaori, and Haruka. They somehow managed to condense everything that we love about the dynamics of these 3, including how loved they are by their kohais, into just a few lines of dialogue, and it was amazing. We had Yuuko's continued obsessive love and loyalty for Kaori. There was Haruka's very kind of bumbling, self-conscious, not very sure of herself manner, and then Asuka just coming in, barging in and taking over for Haruka, really making light of the situation. And of course, Kaori's continued unrequited love and sort of this patient wife energy for Asuka. It was all too perfect. On a more serious note about the senpais, throughout the film, Asuka had kind of been this ghost that kept resurfacing in Kumiko's mind and memories, particularly when she was dealing with the first years. It really showed how Kumiko's experiences with Asuka has shaped her approach to a lot of things like passion for music and now leadership and teaching those who are younger than her. She really wasn't kidding when she said that she'd missed Asuka. I think what's interesting is how Kumiko seemed to draw both positive and also these cautionary lessons from her experiences with Asuka. Like when dealing with conflict between band members, particularly with Kanade's situation, Kumiko would have remembered on the positive side Asuka's perceptiveness and her keen ability to understand the complex emotional dynamics within a person and also within the band. But Kumiko also chose to be different by not imitating Asuka's tendency to keep everyone at an emotional distance and kind of just let situations play out without any direct intervention. Instead, Kumiko chose to confront the conflicts more directly, as seen when she chased after Kanade. So it was like her memories of Asuka guided Kumiko towards a leadership style that took the best of Asuka's insights while avoiding some of her pitfalls. I think Kumiko also thinks of Asuka a lot because she now knows what it feels like to be on the other side, to be that mysterious, complex senpai that her kohai, i.e. Kanada, is trying to understand. And that seemed to also influence her decision to be more straightforward and, I guess, more emotionally available to her kohai than Asuka sometimes was. And it's this great example of how we can learn from our mentors, not just by copying what they did, but also by reflecting and consciously choosing to handle things differently if we felt that their approach maybe wasn't the best or kind of made things unnecessarily hard. I can definitely relate to that aspect of mentorship, like having once been a very young student learning from my music teachers and then later having to teach my own students. It's definitely beneficial to go through that mental sifting process where you keep the teaching and the discipline techniques that did help you become a better musician, but then you also discard the excessively tough disciplinarian aspects that ultimately weren't necessary or may have even been counterproductive for certain kinds of students, at least. For example, no one needs to be yelled at or have their knuckles wrapped with a ruler if your posture is wrong, Leave your comments below about this movie because I would love to read about them. And yeah, thanks for watching with me.